Hello, this is Rick Vossen with RV of Panama City, your local Stormore portable building dealer, located at 2241 East Baldwin Road. Shopping for a garage, portable building, cabin? We build them anywhere from 8 to 16 foot wide, 10 feet to 60 feet long. We can do insulation, electricity, transom dormers, thermal windows. Come, let's customize a building together. Rick Vossen, Stormore Portable Building Dealer, Panama City.
Los Rancheros has been doing it right for 20 years. Los Rancheros brings a top-shelf dining experience to you with the opening of their beautiful new building. Watch all college and pro games on Los Rancheros' 14 large-screen TVs with great drink specials daily from 2 to 5 and during all the games. Los Rancheros, the place for live sports and great food on 23rd Street between Jenks and Harrison.
In the jewelry business, there is no substitute for experience. David Adamson has over 46 years of experience, 32 of those in Lynn Haven. Designing and creating fine jewelry is more than a job for David, it's a joy. If you're looking for a spectacular jewelry design that says you, or perhaps you need your jewelry repaired, look no further than David Adamson Designer Jewelry. All work is done in-house and always to your complete satisfaction. Stop in today at David Adamson Designer Jewelry, 830 Ohio Avenue in Lynn Haven. They're on Facebook and at pcjeweler.com.
You owe the IRS back taxes, and dealing with the IRS stresses you out. Fortunately, IRS Problem Relief can help you resolve back taxes and represent you to the IRS so you don't have to face them alone. Last year, IRS Problem Relief saved clients drowning in tax debt, and IRS Problem Relief is a local company right here in Panama City, not some 800 number where you can never talk to the same person twice. Put those problems behind you so you can focus on moving forward. Call Edward Corey with IRS Problem Relief, 850-784-8176. For a free consultation, call Edward Corey with IRS Problem Relief. It's 850-784-8176 or visit irsproblemrelief.com.
PCB Hobby, the beach's premier hobby store for sports cards, comics, coins, and trading card games. PCB Hobby carries the largest selection of boxes and packs from the latest releases of brands like Topps, Panini, Leaf, and more. Looking for a specific player or team? PCB Hobby has a wide assortment of raw and graded cards. They carry parallel rookie, game used, and autographed cards in both modern and vintage. Have a collection you want to sell? We buy, sell, and trade. PCB Hobby on Back Beach Road, just east of Florida Linen. Call 850-320-8388.
And that's out of the ballpark.
ESPN, Northwest Florida.
Dashed away and intercepted. Ball game. The fairy tale continues.
The Afternoon Underdogs are on the air.
And the breakthrough for the U.S.
4.3 ESPN Northwest Florida.
What's going on, Northwest Florida? You are now in the doghouse, and you're riding along with the Afternoon Underdogs, tuned in to ESPN Northwest Florida, 104.3 here in Panama City, 101.9 in Port St. Joe. I'm David Hayes, along with Adam Goff, also known as Fano, and Caveman Rick, the Philadelphia Phillies, who is in a great mood this afternoon, wearing black for the funeral of the Philadelphia Phillies. Not necessarily a legit funeral because their season is still alive and well, still on top of the National League East by should be 6 games here in just a few short moments. Yes, that game has just now ended. Your Atlanta Braves got the victory over the Milwaukee Brewers 6-2, but the Yankees did sweep the Phillies, so now 6 games behind the Phils are the Atlanta Braves, with still a long ways to go here in this season, with the months of August and September also known as the dog days of summer. AG, let's get a non-biased response here, because obviously me being a Brave, Caveman Rick being a Philly. What do you think the chances are that the Braves make this into a race during the home stretch?
Well, I mean, it depends on what the Philadelphia Phillies do. They're in the driver's seat. If their pitching continues down this woeful stretch that they've had against the Yankees, then it could spell trouble for them. And the Braves aren't going to need to do much outside of winning series to catch up.
Yeah.
The Mets are still there as well, so that's something you have to also look at. But, the Braves going out and getting the band back together, if you will. I mean, now there's Rosario is back on the team. That was before the deadline. That was a waiver wire pickup. And then you got Jorge Soler and Luke Jackson are back on the team.
They did lose Matzik to that, but
they lost Matzik, right? But now they've got, Soler, who, was arguably one of the best free agent or best trade pickups we've seen in recent history at the deadline.
Yeah, for 2021 or for this year?
For 21.
Okay, yeah,
that's what I'm saying.
Absolutely.
So, and if you can get close to that magic with this Braves lineup, it's going to be huge because of all the losses. And when I mean losses, I mean like injuries.
Yeah, no, 100%.
I mean, obviously you've got, issues with Olsen, who seems to be turning it around, 2 more home runs today. But, he's still not what he was last year, anywhere close.
No. Still at 226, so.
But I think for the Phillies, the thing that they can kind of lean on besides their starting pitching is the fact they have Bryce Harper.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, he seems to be the equalizer. He is that superstar. We've talked about it before on the air of, guys that have come in that have been, highly regarded and have all this hype coming into their professional careers, and then have they lived up to it? And he's one of the few that we can think of in recent memory that has actually done it. So, having Bryce Harper there on the in that other dugout for the Braves isn't exactly ideal.
Yeah, no, that's 100% true there. And the Phillies have a great starting rotation, a rough week, as you guys were talking about earlier. Just a rough week, a rough stretch for the Philadelphia Phillies pitching, especially in this particular series with the New York Yankees. And the Yankees got a little bit of a surge there from Jazz Chisholm, which maybe to a lot of people wasn't one of the best trades of the trade deadline. But I think after the first 2 days, it might have been one of the best ones. Obviously, still a long ways to go there. But how about that? The Yankees and Jazz Chisholm. I mean, he is not the epitome of the Yankees. He's flashy.
Change of scenery helps sometimes.
A change of scenery absolutely helps.
You don't have to be the guy either. He's got tons of help.
Well, what did you think of his first appearance in a New York Yankees uniform? One of the first anyways. One of the first I saw. The first I saw. He's got his hat backwards, got a green belts on and everything. It's like, how did you guys feel about that? I think it's time for the Yankees to, maybe they'll finally win a world championship. Can we start calling the Yankees drought here the beard curse, or the curse of the not being able to have beards?
Curse of the facial hair.
Yeah, curse of the facial hair. I think they just need to back off of that rule and let players be players. But it is, I mean, it's the Yankee way, and so I do respect that. But what's your thoughts been on Jazz Chisholm's early start here with the Yanks?
I've always liked Jazz Chisholm as a player. He was somebody that I thought the Reds could have or should have, gone after at the deadline. Especially at the All-Star break, of course, then the Reds, peeing down their own leg, coming out of the All-Star break again is not exactly ideal. But
hey, starting out this week against the Cubs. It's the Cubs.
But, I like Jazz, and like Rick said, I think change of scenery was huge for him because, not only are you getting away from that whole Miami vibe down there, which is not a vibe at all, to now you're going to a place where the two guys that are going to be hitting in front of you predominantly are going to be Juan Soto and Aaron Judge, right? I mean, it's hard to say that, you're not going to get your pitch when those two guys are going to be on base, 600 or 60% of the time ahead of you?
I think that's fair
arguably,
to say.
Right?
At least one of them, right?
That's what I'm saying. So you're going to have some pitches thrown your way. So I'm excited to see what he does in New York. I got some buddies, including my buddy Big Fred, big Yankees fan. He's excited. He's been calling for Jazz Chisholm to be a Yankee for a couple weeks now.
Wow, that's impressive.
And so it was a big move for them because that's not typically the guy that the Yankees kind of go after.
Yeah.
And there were some questions of, does he play second base? Does he play third base? Does he play outfield? Like, what do you do with Stanton when he comes back? Yeah. Right, Glaber's Glaber. I mean,
how about that though? Glaber saying, "I'm not playing third base."
Knucklehead.
Like, if I was the Yankees and you say that, I'm sending you to Oakland. I'm sending you or to AAA. I'm sending you somewhere where baseball just doesn't shine, because I think most of us could agree, right? The New York Yankees playing there at Yankee Stadium, one of the big three, one of the meccas of baseball, if you will.
Not so much anymore, though.
No, 100%. But fan base wise, like it's just like if you go to Philly. It's like if you go to, I don't necessarily know about the Cubbies, I just, history wise, but they still care about their baseball.
You go to the Red Sox, you go to the Dodgers.
Yeah.
Right? There's royalty there. There's baseball royalty.
Yeah,
there.
like the legend, the lore of it, and it still sticks around. It's like the Dallas Cowboys.
Right. And so if you're a player and you have an opportunity to go to play in Yankee Stadium, like a Gleyber Torres whose career has fizzled out beyond what we are even our own imaginations. But to have a kind of an Anthony Rendon mentality is absolutely ludicrous to me. Like,
and that guy's back on the IL, Rendon.
Right, but what did Jazz say when he first got there? He's like,
wherever.
He said, I'll play wherever. I just want to win a championship.
Yeah. And
that should be the saying, in what Gleyber Torres is trying to say, right? But it's not. It's the complete opposite. It's me, 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 me. And again, if I'm the Yankees, I just go, okay, you know what? I'll trade you for like free sodas in the.
It's par for the course with the Yankees, man. They're hired mercenaries. That's all that team is, man. Hired guns. What do you expect? Guys that are in it for themselves. They're chasing the bag. They're not so much even chasing a championship anymore, I don't think.
Well, Gleyber really wasn't a hired gun, if you will. I mean, they got him in a trade, I believe, from the Cubs in 2017. So he's been around for 7 years.
You don't have to have that mentality necessarily, like your own self, but when everybody else around you has that mentality, you kind of have to gravitate that way, because a lot of other people are thinking for themselves all the time.
I don't know,
I
man.
think at times you kind of have to look out for number one when you're around people like that.
Just real quick, your prospect knowledge never ceases to amaze me. Gleyber Torres, international free agent, signs with the Cubs 2013, $1.7 million signing bonus, makes his pro debut in 2014 with the Arizona Cubs, and then, basically MLB, 2016, got traded from the Cubs to the Yankees, and then made his debut, his Major League Baseball debut in 2018. So just another spot on take there from Adam Golf.
But I think what you see, though, with this Yankees organization right now, though, Rick, is it's a little bit different than what it was. Are they still going out and getting the pieces? Absolutely, because they have the financial backing to do so. But if you look at some of the homegrown talent that's on the team, including their captain, Aaron Judge, who is, I think, by far the best player in the league right now. Bobby Witt's chasing him, and he's catching up. But you see a different team. Like, look at Marcus Stroman, right? Okay. Marcus Stroman was a guy that was with the Cubs. He was flashy. He was all show.
He hated the Americans.
And now he's brought into the fold. Aaron Judge has kind of brought him into the fold.
Yeah, that's helped.
And he's kind of he's that team guy.
Yeah, but they're winning right now. Let's see when they're not winning. Let's see when things are going south and going sideways.
That is true, though, because they started out really high. Actually, they kind of started out a little slow. Well, what was
right before the All-Star break, a week or so before the All-Star break, they were scuffling.
But beginning of the season, though.
Whole year.
Beginning of the season, though, was it that they started out like first 2 weeks or so was kind of slow,
and then
struggling. That's right.
Because
they were and then they caught fire, and then right there before the All-Star break, it was. Not bad news Bears, but it was bad news for Yankees fans. I mean, there was sorts
of Cole. Aaron Judge started off hitting like 219 in the month of May.
Yeah.
Or going, more than halfway into the month of May. Juan Soto was banged up and wasn't in the lineup. So they were relying on, DJ LeMahieu and Giancarlo Stanton and Gleyber Torres to kind of keep them afloat. Anthony Volpe was on a tear early to start off. He's kind of come back down to earth a little bit, but that's another one that's a homegrown talent with Anthony Volpe.
But the Yankees are better when they're more home.
It out. And I love the piece of adding Jazz Chisholm, getting back to our original topic here, because I feel like under the leadership of a guy like Aaron Judge, who is the consummate teammate and the consummate leader, I feel like that's somebody that can really, really excel in that lineup.
I'm still, like you said, Aaron Judge, the best player in the league, and I'm not going to disagree with that. It's just I sit there and I start to think about some of the guys across the league, and baseball's in a really good spot right 100%. Now that you can't just sit there and say that guy right there is the face of baseball, because there's so many of them, and a lot of them are young. So baseball could be in a really good spot in the next 5 to 10 years, I would say. But it's been a lot of fun, and I'm not going to disagree with Aaron Judge being the best player in the league. Who would you say is second? Because if I were to have 1A, 1B, sure. Dang it, when you sit there and you say that name, though, and especially we're talking about in a year right now where he's not pitching. Yep. He's not a two-way player, and he is just, I mean, I don't know. I guess I got to change that. I got to say Shohei is the best in the league. As much as I hate to say that.
If Shohei were pitching and he was, you know,
it wouldn't be close
to where he was before he got injured, then yeah, I would say Shohei, just because he changes the game from two sides.
Yeah.
But hitting alone, give me Aaron Judge.
I'll take that. I'll accept that. just watching Shohei play, even if it's just hitting, there's just something about that guy, man. There's just something about him. And his speed on the base pass is underrated.
Yeah. Absolutely, 100%.
Yep.
He's at, 28 steals, I think?
I mean, it's no
like
Ellie De La Cruz. Did you see Ellie with the synchronized infield move? So there was a ball hit. It was kind of in that 5-6 hole right there in between third base and shortstop. Third baseman goes over to scoop it up, and Ellie could have got it, but he was right behind him. Yeah, and just like it was hilarious. Was that? Well, I just saw the video today, and it sounded like the commentator made a Olympic type remark, like synchronized swimming or whatever.
Probably John Steinbeck, yeah.
So was that a recent play that just happened? Okay, yeah. Man, that kid, I love the animation. I love animated baseball players. I wouldn't want every single baseball player to be animated, though, because I think that would take away from the uniqueness of it. But guys like Jazz Chisholm, guys like Ellie De La Cruz, guys like Ronald Acuna and Ozzie Albies, those are fun guys to have in the league.
And Ellie giving a shout out to my alma mater, by the way. I don't know if you saw this or not, but his sliding glove, he had Big Red from Western Kentucky University on his sliding glove yesterday.
Hey, you know what?
That was pretty awesome.
Alabama opens up the season against Western Kentucky this year.
Yeah, go Tops.
Yeah. So maybe we have to figure out a way to watch that game together that will give your teammate.
Hey, Randy, can you get us some tickets, bud? That would be great.
Well, this one's not in Western Kentucky. It's in Bama. So, but I tell you what, though, with the way that Cincinnati Bengals-Titans game worked out, I'd never want to watch a game with you again, but I think maybe we could try to turn my luck into
we watched the Bengals-Bills right after
that. Oh, yeah, that's true. That's true.
While we're talking about baseball, I just wanted to bring something up real quick that I've seen. I don't know if you guys, I'm sure, probably seen or heard about. But McCann getting hit in the face on that ball, and then stayed in and caught that whole entire game. You know, I mean, he didn't play for the second game of the doubleheader, but soldier, man,
dude, no doubt to take. What was it, 98 miles an hour? I believe to the dome
or something, right to like the orbital bone, the eye, and the nose, like right in that pocket right there. You know?
Yeah. So the closest I can come to that, like personally speaking, is we're playing out at Frank Brown. This is probably, I was just out of high school, so this is 14 or 15 years ago. It's slow pitch softball. I was on a team with a bunch of, not older fellas, but everyone was older than me, so they called me Youngin. Youngin was my nickname. And I was playing third base. There was a ground ball. The ball hit like a little lump of clay, and then it tipped off my glove, and it broke my nose. And the guys were like, you need to sit down. I was like, no, bro, like I'm continuing to play. And then they made me go to the hospital after the game, and I was like, what? There's nothing you can, I've had my nose broke before. Like there's nothing they're going to be able to do for me. And so I ended up going to the emergency room for that, and the doctor was like, yeah, you know, I mean, you're going to have trouble breathing for the rest of your life. You're only going to be able to basically breathe out of one of your nostrils at a time, but here's your some pain pills. I'm like, oh, great, thanks. See y'all later.
I'm a mouth breather anyway, right?
Yeah, right.
Here's your bill too, by the way.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. That's what I was trying to tell the guys. Like, man, I'm broke, man. I ain't got the money for no hospital. My goodness. That was in slow pitch softball. Like, and what position does James McCann play?
Catcher.
So you got to put the mask on and all of that. Dog, like, that is just. I'm so glad you brought that up.
And you're calling a game too.
Yeah,
I mean, you got to be on it. You're just not standing there like in the outfield waiting for something to get hit to you. I mean, you're involved every single pitch of the game.
No breaks at all, and we're in the middle of summer, so it's hot as all get out outside.
And you can't breathe.
Sweat.
He had like those, like the nose tampons in there to keep the blood from going out. So I mean, it's got to be rough to breathe too. In that heat.
You can't breathe.
Kudos
the
to that
sweat.
dude.
My goodness.
James McCann, soldier.
Yes, absolutely.
So how would your Braves do today?
Braves 6-2, man. A big win over the Brewers. Division leading, NL Central leading Milwaukee Brewers. After that first game of the series, I was like, man, I don't know what's going to happen. And again, we still have a long ways to go. But after that first game of the series, Braves got out to a little bit of a lead, and then they gave up the ghost, and it's like, is this what the rest of the year is going to be like, where, we get a lead maybe early on and then just give them up late in games, and then for them to bounce back and win the next 2 games of the series? Maybe that's a little bit more hope. I feel like the schedule is very favorable for the Braves. And then also for Olsen and d'Arnaud, back-to-back, not once, but twice in this game. Very impressive stuff there.
Elder was game 1, right? And he's
and they've already optioned him down.
Right, and they kept him in probably a little too long, gave up the lead. Adames hit the big 3-run home run.
Yeah.
And then now they've sent him back down. But
along with Nacho Alvarez.
Right. Which, I mean, obviously, Merrifield's probably going to be your second baseman at this point. You got to go with the veteran bat, veteran glove.
Hit 197. Whoop, Mendoza.
You have to be hopeful for the career of Schwellenbach. That kid has looked phenomenal here lately.
Yeah, I mean, he's one of those guys, but there's been so many guys over the last 10 years, really, that have come up and then they've shown signs and then it just doesn't pan out. So I'm cautiously optimistic with Schwellenbach. But yeah, I mean, what, he had 9 Ks, I believe, in his last start. So very impressive young man. And, Reynaldo Lopez, thankfully, only day to day after that forearm stiffness that he's been dealing with. So, excited about Schwellenbach. Ian Anderson, he's another one of those guys that had high hopes, right? Well, he should be making his way back to the rotation sometime this year. We'll see. Max Fried shouldn't be too far away from coming back either. So, and the rotation is the reason. The rotation is the reason why the Braves are even able to smell the Philadelphia Phillies, and luckily are not behind the New York Mets at this point in time. So, in terms of the Braves, even wild card wise, I'm still cautiously optimistic about that because there's nothing locked up about it.
Well,
I mean,
here's the thing, right? Like, since the wild card expansion, the wild cards have been the teams that have been the hottest going in.
Very true.
And they're the ones that typically make the deep run.
They're playing with house money.
100%. And so it's not a matter of like, sneaking in. You don't want to back your way in.
You're right. Well, the Diamondbacks did that last year.
Well, the Diamondbacks got in because Seiya Suzuki can't field a fly ball.
Very true.
But, sorry, Max. But, the Diamondbacks were still playing decent ball up until that point. But then you had
negative run differential.
You had the Braves. But that's season long, though.
Yeah, that's still kind of indictment, man. He shouldn't be making a playoffs with a negative run differential.
Well, when you play in the NL West with the Dodgers and the Padres, and you're going to lose some games pretty heavily.
And the Giants were a surprising team last year, too.
That's like people saying, like, teams with losing records that win divisions in the NFL shouldn't host a playoff game. I mean, unfortunately, that's just the way the rules are and the way they're written. But yeah, I mean, it kind of sucks when you see that kind of stuff happen.
Well, yeah, it sucks that you see it, but it's the same exact thing. Like, do you think that division winners should be in the playoff or should be hosting playoff games?
Yeah, that's the whole reason.
Right. I mean, so that's the same.
Your steps are you win the division, you win your conference, you win the championship. That's what you're supposed to do. Those are the goals of every team for every season.
So what does the run differential have to do with that?
Nah, I just like it's
because I would say that kind of coincides is having the negative run differential, but still making the playoffs is about the same way as going 7-10, but still winning your division.
That's what I'm saying. It kind of leaves a sour taste in your mouth when you see teams do that kind of thing. Yeah, they made it in the playoffs, but when you see numbers like that, you're kind of thinking, you probably shouldn't have made the playoffs based off of those numbers. I mean, run differential, sure, that's not the end all be all stat, but that does tell a lot.
Again, Seiya Suzuki dropped a fly ball. I mean, that's what it boils down to.
That is. And it was against the Atlanta Braves. So appreciate you, Seiya Suzuki. We're going to run to a break. When we get back, Sam Peebles, host and creator of the Braves Dugout Podcast, will join us to break down the 2024 Major League Baseball trade deadline.
America's team plays here.
Swing and a miss. Struck him out. That's number 10.
The Atlanta Braves on ESPN Northwest Florida. Charlie Morton, Max Fried, and Chris Sale lead the Braves' dominant pitching rotation.
That's 18 up, 18 down.
Sponsored by Panama City Toyota, LS Agency Insurance, Bestway Portable Buildings, PCB Hobby, and ESPN Northwest Florida.
Got him swinging. Strike 3.
Good afternoon. This is Joanna with your weather forecast from ESPN Northwest Florida on this Wednesday. A chance of thunderstorms and some sun the remainder of the day with a wind at 8 miles per hour out of the southwest and 90. Tonight, look for partly cloudy skies with a temperature near 81. Tomorrow, a high around 92 and mostly sunshine and a possibility of thunderstorms. This weather forecast is sponsored by Mid-South Lumber, the best little lumber yard in Panama City. Thank you for keeping that dial on ESPN Northwest Florida. Rely on it.
With over 65 years of combined experience, Instant Replay Sports Cards is happy to help you take your collection to the next level. They carry all the new hobby boxes, signed memorabilia, and supplies. New and vintage cards in Pokemon. They sell and trade cards and are always looking to buy. They're an authorized source for Topps, Panini, Upper Deck, and Leaf cards. Instant Replay Sports Cards is open 7 days a week at 752 West 23rd Street, down from Academy Sports. It can always be reached at InstantReplaySportsCards.com.
Attention homeowners, are you dreaming of a backyard oasis? Look no further than S&R Fencing, your go-to destination for quality outdoor transformations. At S&R, they specialize in crafting custom fences, decks, retainer walls, and all exterior construction that not only enhances the beauty of your home, but also stands the test of time. Their experienced team takes pride in delivering top-notch craftsmanship with a personal touch. S&R Fencing, locally owned, licensed, and insured, and a member of the BBB.
The mission?
Your mission, should you decide to accept it.
Save the panhandle from boring cookie-cutter radio. Now back to the Afternoon Underdogs.
The state will self-destruct in 5 seconds.
104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida.
Sam Peebles is bad to the bone. So is ESPN Northwest Florida and the Afternoon Underdogs. I'm David Hayes, along with Adam Goff and Caveman Rick. We're talking trade deadline with Sam Peebles. Atlanta Braves had the big win over the Brewers today, 6-2 to win that series 2-1. Sam Peebles, what'd you think of the old Bravos today?
Oh, it was awesome. Especially the Matt Olson and Travis D'Arnaud going back-to-back twice in the same game.
Yeah, how about that, man? How often? I mean, I can't really remember a time that the same two players have gone back-to-back in the same game. But yes, great stuff there. How did you feel about the Braves trade deadline? What do you think of the old family reunion of Jorge Soler, Luke Jackson, trading off one of the cousins though, in Matzik to head to the Giants? But what did you think? What do you make of the Braves trade deadline?
Well, to answer your question about the back-to-back home runs, the last time someone did it was the Astros did it last year, but the last time the Braves did it was Javi Lopez and Andrew Jones back in 1998.
Bada bing, bada boom, trivia, baby.
But, yeah, well, I wrote the article today for Battery Power, so I kind of already had that on the top of my head.
There we go, man.
So as far as the trade deadline, I liked it. I mean, of course, there's always going to be people that say the Braves should have done more or X, Y, Z, but the reality is that the Braves, one, everyone thought the prices were going to be different than they were. This was a seller's market, but holy cow, were there a ton of trades with crazy high asking prices. And the Braves were already, kind of hampered by the fact that they were so close to that third tier of the luxury tax. And once you hit that third tier of the luxury tax, not only are you paying 60% on top of every dollar over that amount, but you lose 10 spots in the next draft. So they couldn't go over that. So bringing in Jorge Soler, the more I look at it, the more I like it. Much like when they first brought him in, he's not performing quite as well as he was when they first brought him in 2021, but he's still is a good 150 points better OPS-wise than the league average leadoff hitter in Major League Baseball. The one thing that he brings that the Braves needed is he's in the top 17% in walk rate, so he walks all the time. So getting him on first base, that means guys like Marcell Ozuna, Matt Olson, Austin Riley has someone on base that they can knock in to actually score. I mean, how many solo home runs have we seen this year? Because no one's on base.
Yeah.
I think with the Soler thing, not to cut you off. What's up, Sam? It's AG.
Hey, how's it going?
I think the thing about Soler is you have to look at the ballpark, too, in San Francisco, right? It's not exactly homer-friendly, which, that's where that's what the Braves are missing this year is that big home run ball. Here in the last, week and a half, 2 weeks, maybe since right before the All-Star break, they've started to heat up, started to hit more home runs. I think adding a piece like Soler, bringing him back into the fold in Atlanta, surrounding him with guys like Matt Olson and d'Arnaud, potentially Sean Murphy if they ever play him again. I think it really, really helps his bat because, like Sam said, not only does he walk a ton, but he's got that game-changing pop. So bringing him back to Atlanta, I think, was a big move just in terms of trying to, have the ability to change the game with one swing.
Absolutely. Totally agree with you on the ballpark, too. I mean, it's one of the hardest ballparks to hit a home run in. In fact, if you look at the park factors, like a 100 would be league average. The park factor for the Giants is a 93 this year. So that means there's 7% fewer home runs in San Francisco than on average. So you're right. You're right on point with that. Not as many people, and there's a reason why the Giants haven't had a 30 home run hitter since Barry Bonds. So people don't.
Does that make it more impressive what Barry Bonds was able to do?
Yes, I was just thinking about that yesterday. I was like, so not only did Barry Bonds hit so many home runs, he's doing it in a park that doesn't yield a lot of home runs. So, and he was in San Francisco for a good chunk of his career.
My goodness, man. Obviously, I think David O'Brien already put out an article, but do you think it's like that Soler is... It's just weird to me seeing these big dudes hitting leadoff. Do you think that's where Soler sticks at the leadoff spot there? I know he hit, I think he had 28 games with the Giants where he was the leadoff hitter.
I think so, just purely because the Braves need someone that can consistently get on base. If they're not going to put Soler there, they need to put Austin Riley there, and we know that that's not happening. Yeah. So the reason that Ronald Acuna was there, I mean, that was a natural fit because not only does he get on base all the time, but he's also super quick. You don't get that anymore. I mean, that's a rarity. Mm-hmm. What you really need is guys that are on base so that they can move them over. The math shows it. It's more important to have someone on base than have someone fast being in the front of your lineup. Yeah. And guys like besides Austin Riley or potentially Marcell Ozuna, who else are you going to put in the leadoff spot? Jared Kelenic was there for a while, but he truly was brought to the Braves to be the number 8 hitter. Do you want a guy that was slotted to be your 8th best hitter batting first? Absolutely not.
Absolutely not. Love the emphasis there on that. That is a great point there, Sam. What overall the trade deadline? I was reading articles today on The Athletic, even on ESPN, saying basically posing the question: was it a deadline or a dudline for you? Though, was this trade deadline exciting or boring as a guy who really does cover the entirety of the MLB?
I'll say it like Jeff Passan said it. He just tweeted, there were a lot of trades.
Yeah. That's what I was thinking yesterday, because yesterday almost felt like, the day before rather, really felt like it was the deadline because you saw so many players moving, and there was a lot of trades, just not a lot of big names. So it was a very busy trade deadline. Who would you say won the trade deadline?
Probably the Cardinals. I think them bringing in Eric Fetty and Tommy Pham for really cheap. I mean, they barely gave up anything to get them. They just made their team way better for very, very cheap. Eric Fed, if you don't know this, his last year overseas, he won their equivalent of the Cy Young Award. He wasn't too great his first stint in America, in MLB, but once he left and got things worked out, he's a top tier pitcher. And then Tommy Pham, he's not a lead or anything, but he's definitely an upgrade for the Cardinals. And we've already seen that he's already made an impact. He hit a grand slam either today or yesterday. So I just think that was a solid move by them. And then the Dodgers, I mean, they did really well too, bringing in a backup utility guy and Tommy Edman, and Michael Kopech is one of those guys that if you can get the Dodgers lab in there and really fix him, he has elite stuff. So, I mean, that trade altogether was just probably the most impactful all around.
It should be illegal for teams who spend so much money and have the number one farm system to be active at the trade deadline, such as the Dodgers.
The biggest thing about the Dodgers is the fact that they didn't give up any of their big pieces as far as the farm
just Vargas,
system goes.
right? And they're
and he was kind of like, okay, well, he's an afterthought.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, he goes to the White Sox, and he'll play for the White Sox, and he'll probably play well, but they're waiting on Colson Montgomery to come up as well, who's kind of struggling this year. But, the Dodgers not giving up a Josue DePaula. They're not giving up a Dalton Rushing. They're not giving up even a Diego Cartaya, to anybody. And here we go. We turn around and look, and they're just reloading right there at the deadline. It was absolutely incredible.
And they get a Mookie Betts back.
Yeah,
they'll get Mookie back here soon, too. And, I like what the Marlins did, right? I understand that the Marlins basically just unloaded everybody, but what they were able to bring back in for some of the things that they traded, for some of the pieces that they traded, I thought they really set themselves up for the next couple years. If they can get one or two free agent pickups, especially on the front end of the rotation with Alcantara coming back, and you got the Meyer boys that are going to be there as well. So they didn't have to relinquish any of those guys. If they can get a couple pieces there on the rotation, I should say the back end of the rotation, with Connor Norby going in there, like such a huge pickup from the Orioles. But again, what do the Orioles do? They trade Connor Norby and they go, hey, Jackson Holiday, come on back up. Hit you a 439-foot grand slam today.
Yeah, that was very, very, very impressive. What about on the flip side there, Sam? Who fumbled? Who would have you liked to see make some moves and just kind of set? Who lost the trade deadline? Easier way to put that.
I would say probably the two worst run organizations in Major League Baseball, which is the Rockies and the Angels. What are you doing? Trade your pieces. You're not going to win in a very long time. You have guys that people want, and you can get value for them. It's almost like a good metaphor is like when you're at home and you just got some item in your closet that you're never going to use again, and someone's offering you, $10 for it, and you're like, well, I paid $20. I don't care. It's worth $0 sitting in your closet. Sell it for $10 if someone wants it. That's basically what the Angels and the Rockies did. Yeah. They just sat back and was like, well, you're not giving us enough, so we're not going to trade the players. They're not going to help you win a championship.
Right. Well, like Sam said, the Rockies with McMahon or Doyle, right? You could get huge returns for either one of those guys. I mean, McMahon was an all-star. Doyle is a Gold Glover, and he's got really nice pop in his bat. I understand he plays in Colorado, but I've seen him play away from Colorado, and he still hits well. And then another team for me is Oakland.
Yeah.
Right? Oakland has some really, really nice pieces in there. Rooker, who is, 26, I think, right now? Maybe 28? I can't remember off the top of my head. But the guy's going to be hitting 35, 40 home runs potentially by the end of the season.
29.
There it's even worse, right? So even worse in terms of his age. You have teams out there looking for an outfield bat with a lot of pop, and he's 29 years old. He's not going to be part of your future when you move to Vegas, let alone Sacramento. Why are you holding on to this guy?
Good point. I think what it was is they highly overvalued a DH.
Yeah.
because he is purely a DH pretty much. Of course, you know, when you got teams like the Braves that their offense is so bad that they will sacrifice defense for offense, maybe. But and the interesting thing is we all need to remember that just because trades didn't happen didn't mean that they didn't try.
Yeah.
So I'm sure that, you know, there was negotiations and they just fell short. I don't know if someone got greedy or what, but yeah, Brent Rooker was a shocker to me. I agree. I would have definitely sold high on him because this is probably the highest his value is ever going to be.
Absolutely. And who would you say you're more surprised didn't get moved, sticking with the A's there in Mason Miller, or go over to the White Sox and Garrett Crochet?
Garrett Crochet wasn't too much of a shocker when he came out and said that if he got traded to a contending team, he wasn't going to pitch in the playoffs unless they signed him to an extension. So, you know, I kind of feel bad for Chris Getz, the GM for the White Sox in that one. So that one wasn't a huge shocker. Mason Miller, though, yeah. I mean, come on. That you're right. That was a shocker to me as well.
I think the injury to Rick, but I think the injury to Miller probably hampered things maybe a little bit. You know, him slamming his hand on the table or whatever and hurting his wrist. But I think that might have been more of a key factor than anything. But go ahead, Rick.
Yeah, hey, Sam, Caveman Rick. Hey, what about the Blue Jays? Surprised about, like, Bichette and Guerrero not going nowhere?
Well, I can't dog on them too much because of the return they got when they traded with the Astros. I can't believe the Astros gave up that much for a guy with an ERA almost 5. So, you know what I'm saying? So, like, I agree with you. I am shocked that they didn't move at least one of them, but it's hard to give them grief when they probably got the if there is a winner or loser in a trade, I would say they probably won that trade.
Yeah, with Bros and Loperfido in there as well. And then, you know, under the radar, happened a couple days ago, Jonathan Clase from the Mariners going to Toronto to play outfield. Really, really sharp young man. Has a nice bat, super fast, plays a good outfield. I think him over there in the Rogers Center on that AstroTurf, I think he's going to be a problem out there in the outfield.
Yes, definitely. I don't understand. I mean, you know, Kikuchi was, when he came over to the United States, he was super hyped. So, I mean, in fact, I got one of his rookie cards in Bowman and sold it instantly for a profit. It was, I'll never forget this player because he made me money off of baseball cards. But his performance this year does not yield what the prospect return. But at the same time, that kind of speaks to what the market was this year.
Yeah. Well, what do you think made the market turn into such a seller's market this year?
Because of the expanded playoffs, but two, there is the way that the National League is shaping up, that wild card race. There's just so many teams that are still in it right now. I mean, so many. You could argue that there's, you know, at least 20 teams at a minimum that could still have a non-zero chance of making the playoffs this year. So when you got that many, especially when you got teams like the Pirates that came out of nowhere making trades left and right. I mean, and even the Reds made a move. I mean, like, you got teams that are trading, and like the Pirates were essentially being buyers when no one probably saw that coming. It was just a wild, wild scenario.
You're listening to ESPN Northwest Florida. We're on the line with Sam Peebles. He's the host and creator of the Braves Dugout Podcast. New episode dropping in less than 48 hours as he drops those on, 24 hours. I thought it was Tuesday for a second. As he drops those on Thursdays. Sam, what would you say was the best trade overall, the best deal overall?
Oh,
so many trades.
Yeah. I would say probably either the deal that we mentioned with Toronto, or for Toronto, not for the Astros. Or I really liked the trade that the Cubs made. I mean, they picked up Isaac Paredes from the Rays for guys that probably weren't going to play a huge role in their future, and for a guy that is under team control for through the 2026 season when they expect to be contenders again. I thought that was a really, really smart trade. I wouldn't say maybe it wasn't the best trade, but it was a really, really like smart trade, and I really, really respected it.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know how the Rays go. I just feel like if you're trading with the Rays, whatever pieces they get back, especially if it's a pitcher, somehow those guys are going to find a way to flourish in front of no fans.
The Brody kid from Chicago going to Tampa was a big pickup. The kid's got some serious stuff. Morel's gone down to Tampa and hit 2 home runs in 2 games. Everybody talks about Jazz Chisholm. Morel's gone down there, and he's liking his new digs. But I'm with Sam. I think Isaac Paredes going to Chicago was a huge upgrade over Christopher Morel. I feel like his ceiling is much higher than what the Cubs were going to get out of Morel. Not to quote Jim Edmonds here, but you're a 200 hitter, dude, right?
That was such a great quote.
But, and Morel's defense was struggling a little bit. Paredes is good, but the thing about the Rays, they didn't really give up much in Paredes because they've got so many pieces in the minor leagues coming up behind him that
they got pieces in prison.
He was going to be, but he's not going to be missed in the future lineups. If you know what I'm saying. And Morel, he's somebody that can give them pop for the time being until those pieces are ready. But they're not going to be financially tied down. So.
All right, Sam, which player overall, I know I gave you the choice there between Mason Miller and Garrett Crochet, but overall, which player were you the most surprised did not get moved?
Out of those two?
No, just overall.
This is like a really random one, but from the Angels, Renfigo, their second baseman.
Mm-hmm.
I just figured, he's a utility second baseman. He's having the best year of his career, and the Angels have literally no incentive to keep him. I mean, you could trade him just for cash considerations, and it would be worth it. And they didn't move him. And that's one of the reasons why that's 2 years in a row when the Angels absolutely should have traded someone, and they just didn't. And that one, I figured they'd try to make up for last year by doing something this year, and they didn't. And that was their number one piece that I thought they'd move, and they didn't.
They've been talking to the Reds organization too much, I think, Sam.
Which fan base do you think has it the worst off? Like, let's go White Sox, even though from the beginning of the year you know that they were going to struggle. But let's go White Sox, Angels, and we'll leave the A's out of it just because they have multiple facets of why they should be ticked off. The moving and lack of wins, all of that good stuff. But let's go A's, White Sox, and how about Colorado Rockies?
All right, so let's, without saying the A's, because I feel like that's the obvious answer because of the move. But outside of the A's, I mean, I'd probably lean the White Sox just simply because they showed so much promise over the past few years, and they made a bunch of early extensions. They tried to follow the Braves model of finding young guys, sign them early, and they you remember a few years ago, they were my dark horse pick to make it a deep run in the playoffs. I mean, they had such potential, and then they never reached it to the point to where they have to have a full breakdown of the team, and now the trades they made at this deadline weren't even that good. And now they're on pace they set their own record twice in the same year for games lost in a row.
Yeah.
They're on pace to set the record for the most losses in a season, and we just had a terrible, terrible run from the Baltimore Orioles over the past 10 years. That was just terribly bad. And now, I mean, of course, the Orioles turned it around, and they're an excellent team now, but it's going to be a long time before the White Sox are good again.
Well, Jeff Passan, however you want to say it, he tweeted out today, he retweeted something that he put out in 2020, and it was, look out for the White Sox come 2023, 2024. And he listed all the players that were there, right? It was Lubob and Eloy Jimenez and Kopech and Cease and all these guys coming down the list and how long they were under team control for. And then he retweeted back out and he was like, man, what 4 years can do, right? Something along those lines.
Didn't age well.
Yeah. Right, yeah. And it was like, holy cow. So, yeah, I think Sam's right. I think the White Sox, unfortunately. Sorry, Jimmy. Jimmy always tunes in on YouTube.
And it's even worse when you compile that with their football team that they got to root for over there. Just Oh, absolutely. No, I know. Their future is there.
Their basketball team's not the greatest either.
It's tough
their
to be
hockey team right now.
Exactly. It's tough to be a sports fan in Chicago. Sambo, we look forward to the latest edition of the Braves Dugout podcast. My man, thank you so much for giving us some of your time, and enjoy the rest of your day.
No pressure, right? Thanks. I appreciate it, guys. Go Braves.
Go Braves. Chop on. Earlier, Kyle Albritton asked, is Sam related to the music performer Anthony Peebles? Yes, he is. That is his brother. Yeah, absolutely. I not went to school, but played high school athletics with Sam back in the day. And very talented family. I'm sure that it's bigger than the three that I know, but with Sam, Anthony, and Val, great people, great human beings coming from a great family, raised the right way, and very glad to call him a friend. One of the few people that I've become close with here at ESPN Northwest Florida that I actually knew prior to me being here with the radio station.
Commissioner Sam Peebles.
Yes, exactly. I mean, dude, when I sit there and think about all the things that he has on his plate, along with being a dad, he's in the National Guard. Mm-hmm. He's commissioner of not just Lynn Haven, or commissioner chair one. He's commissioner of fantasy baseball teams. He's just active all the litany of things that he does, writing and everything. I'm like, where do you find the time, bro? You're on 25/8. Yeah, for real. And there's sometimes where I'm like, man, I'm pretty busy. I got a lot of things lined up throughout the week, and then I see him. I'm like, I'm not busy. It's one of those things that just, in retrospect, makes you grateful for everything that is, and I'm grateful to call him a friend of mine. You guys are riding with the Afternoon Underdogs. This next segment is going to be short as all get out. We'll be right back. This is ESPN Northwest Florida.
ESPN Northwest Florida.
The Atlanta Braves play here.
We're giving away family 4-packs of tickets to see the Atlanta Braves play the Washington Nationals on August 24th during the Week of Winning. Your first chance to win Braves tickets will be with the Coach James Hale Show, Tuesday, August 6th at 7:40. Plus, listen to the Inside Drive and the Afternoon Underdogs for more chances to win during the Week of Winning on your home for the Atlanta Braves.
ESPN Northwest Florida.
Good afternoon. This is Joanna with your weather forecast from ESPN Northwest Florida on this Wednesday. A chance of thunderstorms and some sun the remainder of the day with a wind at 8 miles per hour out of the southwest and 90. Tonight, look for partly cloudy skies with a temperature near 81. Tomorrow, a high around 92 and mostly sunshine and a possibility of thunderstorms. This weather forecast is sponsored by Mid-South Lumber, the best little lumber yard in Panama City. Thank you for keeping that dial on ESPN Northwest Florida. Rely on it.
Take control of your adventure and discover the new Kia at Bill Burr Kia. Our SUV family is built for all in adventures and endless possibilities. Whether you're traveling on the highways or off-road, you'll do it with grace and grit. Now offering 1.9% APR for up to 48 months on the purchase of a new 2024 Kia Sorento or a new 2024 Kia Sportage. You'll get the perfect balance of comfort, safety, and technology. Bill Burr Kia is the home of the 20-year, 200,000-mile warranty. Stop by and see us at 2435 East 15th Street or anytime at BillBirdKiaPanamaCity.com. The road is yours in an all-new Kia from Bill Bird Kia.
Offer from Kia Finance America for the purchase of a new 2024 Kia Sorento or 2024 Kia Sportage with $2,165 per 1,000 financed at 48 months. Quantities limited. No down payment required. Cannot be combined with other finance offers. The 20-year, 200,000-mile warranty is a Bill Bird Kia warranty. See dealer for complete details. Offer for well-qualified buyers. Must take delivery from dealer stock through 9/3/24.
We're live and local. From Camp Helen State Park to the historic Martin Theater.
It's definitely time to let our hair down and have some fun.
It's the Afternoon Underdogs. 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida.
You're back in the doghouse riding along with the Afternoon Underdogs. I'm David Hayes with Adam Goff, also known as Fano. Very popular on YouTube right now. Love having Adam Goff in the building with us. Caveman Rick running the board for us this afternoon. Hey, we've had a stud running the board on the Inside Drive lately, and I'm not talking about myself. Little Liam's been running the board the last 2 days on the Inside Drive.
Not only is he QB1, but he's
DJ won.
Right.
DJ won. I was joking with him the other day off the air, Caveman, but I was going to save it for when you were here. I was like, yeah, it's easy to run the board. In fact, it's so easy a caveman can do it. So
no doubt. I'm doing it.
Hey, exactly, man. You do a great job back there, and always fun having you in here in the room with me on Fridays. Olympic men's basketball, USA could have had a scare against South Sudan, but they hold on and they win 103-86. The spread was minus 29.5 for the US for Team USA, so they did not cover that. South Sudan, big win over Puerto Rico.
Luol Deng, is that
yeah,
right?
Luol Deng. I don't know if he's coaching, but he basically their uniforms. He paid for the full ride here, plane trips, everything like that. So yeah, big shout out to Luol Deng for that as well.
I did see Carlik Jones, who played at Louisville one year. He was a fifth-year senior transfer.
Yeah,
was really good at Louisville. He's actually on the South Sudan team.
Awesome,
so
man.
I didn't realize that.
I didn't see the uniforms. Do they resemble anything like he played in before, like the Bulls or something like that?
I don't think so.
No.
I mean, honestly, I did not watch any of the game today, and I saw just a few clips from the exhibition game. But yeah, I'll be honest with you, I don't know. Jones is Carly Jones is on the roster. It looks like there is a Deng on here. Obviously, it's not Luol Deng, but maybe a family member of some sort to Luol there. But yeah, I don't recognize any of the names on the South Sudan roster.
But kudos to them, man, hanging tough.
Yeah, dude, you love to see it. I think the country's only 14 years old, and to stick in within 1 point. Had that first game, had they not shown Team USA all their cards in that first game, who knows what the second game looks like, right. But because it was one of those scares in the exhibition game, then you get into this and USA is like, all right, yeah, we're not having any of that here in the actual Olympics. 3x3 or 3-on-3 in basketball, not looking so well. The women's side lost again today to Azerbaijan out of boy AG. Great. Where did you heard of the name of that country before somewhere? Yeah. Not me. I have not heard
Azerbaijan.
All right, cool. There you go. I ain't saying it again.
Haley Van Lith, who plays for the U.S. women's team, played at Louisville, then transferred again. She's not looking good. She's 0-2.
Where's she at? TCU now, I think. That's where her latest transfer is. Yeah, no, she's the only girl on the squad that is not on.
The joke going around the Twitter circles right now is, can she transfer off that team?
Well, quick, fast, and in a hurry. So not looking good and the men's lost their first game. I'm not sure when their second game is. Man, one thing I've learned trying to keep up with the entirety of the Olympics and then come back to talk about it, I'm like, well, I'll just take the headlines as they come. Katie Ledecky, that's a big name in swimming. We're going to have Coach Brian Haddad here with us at 5:20. They're going to be talking about, along with Monty and Farrow, they're going to be talking about SummerSlam. But obviously, Coach Brian Haddad involved with swimming, so we're going to be talking with him a little. I want to get his input, his opinion on what's going on with Team USA swimming. But Katie Ledecky wins her 8th gold medal in the 1500 meter. I watched a 400 meter swim the other day, and I was like, what in the world? That is some tough stuff. Then I see this 1500 meter freestyle, and she wins 8th in a time, Olympic record time of 15 minutes, 30 seconds, 30.2 seconds. She was so far in front that the cameraman had to zoom out. Zoom out a far way, like you can see a good portion of the pool and some of the stands as well. So congratulations to Katie Ledecky. Anything Team USA women's soccer, they get a win over Australia 2-1. So they're going to be taking on Japan in the quarterfinals. What have you been looking at from the Olympics? What's been catching your eye in the Olympics?
I mean the usual suspects, right? Like, so you'll turn it on and you try to catch things. Like I like the weird ones sometimes, like the archery and the shooting and things like that. In the Winter Olympics especially, I love I can't remember what they call it, but it's like shooting while you're skiing.
Isn't that like, I want to say biathlon or something?
Yes, that's exactly what it is. Yeah. That's exactly what biathlon.
So those are fun. But yeah, the weird ones that you don't see a whole lot of. Typically,
have you watched a lot of handball in the past?
Handball? No, not handball.
Yeah,
but pickleball's coming, I think, in 2028 to the Olympics, which is wild because
it is wild.
Is absolutely taking off. And you want to talk about in the hobby?
It's fun though. It's fun.
You want to talk about in the hobby?
Pickleball cards.
Go on eBay and look at pickleball cards. I have no idea who they are, but they sell. It's absolutely insane.
That's insane. I mean, it's a very fun sport to play, but anybody can do it.
An indoor pickleball facility here
We do.
in Panama
We
City.
do.
Do we?
Oh, beach? I don't know about the beach. Yeah, I think there's some at Frank Brown.
Where it's
Don't quote me on
dedicated to
that.
it, like a Topgolf kind of deal?
I mean, there's not like a whole facility for it, but I think that it's set up
I'm
to
shocked
where
we don't
you
have
can.
one yet.
Yeah, and Lynn Haven, they actually have an indoor pickleball league coming up. Maybe into this. Well, here we are, into this month.
Yeah.
So it is right on the doorstep of that. So yeah, and it's growing so rapidly. I mean, you got some courts over there, Oakland Terrace. You have some over there in Parker. But yeah, I mean, if breakdancing, no offense to all of the breakdancers out there, but if we're gonna have a dedicated sport to the Olympics as breakdancing, then pickleball, I'm cool with.
They missed breakdancing 40 years ago. It should have been in the Olympics back in
the
like
70s?
1986.
Yeah.
Dude. And then that's when it would have been badass. They would have had their beatboxes down there. All the teams could have came and threw out their cardboard, on the ground, and they could have just.
Well, the thing is, they wouldn't have even given gold medals to anybody. They could have just taken the gold change right off.
Yeah,
of the
no
dancers.
doubt, man. Like, I don't know. It's like 40 years past due for some of this stuff. I don't get it.
Yeah, Johnny Yankee Seed says courts at Lindell. Got a few comments on YouTube as well. XO says pickleball is saving the hobby. Is it saving the hobby,
No,
AG?
it's not saving the hobby, but it's crazy. It's wild. Jimmy said he just recently sold a card of somebody.
Dylan Frazier.
Dylan Frazier for $33.
They sell pickleball sets at like the weirdest places that you didn't even think you'd find stuff like that.
Well, for a while, that was kind of like disc golf where you would go, or disc golf where you would go and you'd see, frisbee looking things, which disc golf is also a sport like kind of like pickleball, where when I have the opportunity and got some buddies that want to go play, I'm all for it. Like pickleball is a lot of fun. It really is, because I don't play tennis, but I'll get out there and play pickleball.
One of the dispensaries here in town actually has a set for sale of all
Pickleball.
things. Yes, that's what I'm saying. Like,
Does it come with an eighth?
No. But like, you get what I'm saying? Like, when you're selling stuff like that at places like that, it just goes to show you, like, they're just making money off the fad and off everybody, trying to capitalize on it.
Back home in Louisville, they're actually building facilities, and I don't mean just like one or two courts. I'm talking entire
pickleball
like
facilities.
you would have like tennis centers, right?
Yeah.
It's a pickleball.
What they should do is take like one of these closed down like grocery stores that are in the area, or like the mall or something, and turn it into something like that. Man, you can do pickleball.
Well, we used to have the
mini
Renegade.
golf. You can do all kinds of stuff inside something like that.
We used to have Renegade that had basketball courts, indoor
ramps.
soccer, indoor flag football, had the skate park. I would love to see that, what you just mentioned, an old, store, an old grocery store or something, but give us hockey, like give us a place to play some roller hockey, give us some basketball courts. That would be huge. The problem is it's so expensive to run those places, and then to get people to buy into the membership and continue on with that. It's tough, man. And we've got all of these time-saving devices these days, but somehow we just continue to run out of time. And we just ran out of time on this particular segment. Coming up next, it is hour number 2, and we're going to keep it rolling here. If you got anything you want to talk about, text it in 850-215-6290 or comment on YouTube or Facebook, ESPN Northwest Florida.
ESPN Northwest Florida, available on all your devices.
Connected.
Here are your favorite sports talk hosts.
The Coach James Hale Show. You're listening to the Inside Drive live.
The Afternoon Underdogs.
And your favorite teams.
Braves winning!
We're live on the app. Tune in, Alexa, ESPNPC.com, Facebook, YouTube, and in your car at 101.9 and 104.3. Wherever you go, there we are. ESPN Northwest Florida.
Good evening. This is Joanna on ESPN Northwest Florida with your forecast on this Wednesday. Some clouds tonight with a light breeze around 5 miles per hour coming out of the south, and look for the low to be 82. Tomorrow morning, there will be possible thunderstorms and mostly sunshine with the temperature reaching 88. A possibility of thunderstorms and partly sunny in the afternoon and evening with the high of 91. This weather is brought to you by Earthworks of Northwest Florida. Thank you for tuning into ESPN Northwest Florida. Rely on it.
Hello, Tracy's Fine Jewelry.
Tracy, I need your help.
Of course I'll help, Santa.
What can you do to help take the stress out of the holidays?
You heard it, folks. Santa called, and we won't let him down. All of us at Tracy's Fine Jewelry have been stocking our cases full of gold chains, bracelets, and earrings at the lowest prices. We'll save you money during our Christmas and July sale and offer 6 months free layaway. Relieve some stress and shop where Santa shops during our Christmas and July sale at Tracy's Fine Jewelry.
WVLQ Port St. Joe, WGSX Lynn Haven, powered by Panama City Toyota.
ESPN Northwest Florida.
Krispy Kreme presents the Passport to Paris collection of delectable, mouth-watering, gold medal-winning delights. Try the double chocolate eclair or the medal-winning creme brulee, plus raspberry and vanilla cream selections. Can't make it to Paris? No problem. Just stop by Krispy Kreme in front of HCA Hospital, 23rd Street in Panama City, and the Ross Clark Circle in Dothan. Both gold medal Krispy Kremes where you get them hot.
When the sun sets on the Emerald Coast, the freaks come out and play.
Hi, I'm a recovering crackhead.
Hand me that shotgun.
The Afternoon Underdogs.
Get on your knees!
ESPN Northwest Florida.
Welcome back in the Doghouse. It's hour number 2 of the Afternoon Underdogs. I'm David Hayes along with Adam Goff, also known as Fano, and Caveman Rick. Coming up in about 20 minutes, Coach Brian Haddad, Monty, and Pharaoh will join us to preview the upcoming WWE live event, SummerSlam. But before that, we still got some sports to talk about, some team sports to talk about. Not taking any credit away for those wrestlers, man. They put their bodies on the line, and it is great entertainment along the way. Let's see. Team USA Gymnastics, they won the overall gold medal there in the final yesterday. Simone Biles and Jordan Childs and the rest of the gang getting it done. Sonny Lee over there from Auburn as well, getting it done. But interesting, I just started to catch up on the drama, if you will. There was a silver medalist, Michaela Skinner, who came out, I believe, like early July and said that the team has no work ethic. Like outside of Simone Biles, they have no work ethic. They're lazy. And then Simone Biles clapped back on Instagram or Twitter, one of them today, and that Michaela Skinner girl blocked her. So there's been a lot of drama.
Is that what that was? I saw that on Twitter where she was I'm blocked.
I had to deep dive into that today, and I actually watched the original video from Michaela Skinner to try to get the context. And yeah, she basically she was when she went through the Olympics, it was a different regime, if you will, and that was before, you had to be nicer to the athletes, but still, man, Simone Biles and them getting the job done, especially, I can't wait for the documentary that comes out about Simone Biles eventually in the future, probably next year, where, it kind of goes through the 2020 Olympics there at Tokyo and how she had the, she had to take herself out because she had I think they call it the twisties, but, the baseball equivalent of the yips. Yeah, exactly. And so to see, the 4 years in between and all that she had to go through. I was watching last night in the arena, Serena Williams, something that I didn't really think that I would be that intrigued by, and it was a captivating documentary. I was watching one episode. I think it was episode 3. They're dropping episode 4 tonight, I believe, and it's one of those ones that now I'm like, all right, I want to go back and watch. Right. Yeah, exactly. And just the story there of Serena Williams and, the death of her sister, Tundi, and all of that stuff, the injury that she had to go through. So, yeah, looking forward to a future documentary here on Simone Biles. Joe Burrow, he was on Barstool with PFT commenter and Big Cat. They were talking about the Olympics. PFT commenter brought up that we lost in the Olympics to Japan, but that was not the Olympics. That was a different international football game, but it was tackle football, and yes, we got blown out by Japan 41-20, and then I believe we lost to Austria the following game in the bronze medal game. But Joe Burrow says that he would love to play flag football in the 2028 Olympics. Do you think that the NFL will actually allow the NFL athletes to compete in the games? It is going to be in Los Angeles, but it's also going to be at this time of the year, which is training camp. As of now, from what I've seen from CBS, it looks like yes. But I'm right there with you guys. I'm not going to say it like that, but no, I don't think so.
My Bengals can't keep Joe Burrow on the field for a full season.
Yeah.
Now you want him to go play in a non-unsanctioned event or whatever. I don't care if it's for the country. No, take Patrick Mahomes all day.
So it goes NFL, America, and then
these guys don't want to
get Patrick Mahomes.
They don't want to play 17 games. Why add something else? No, as the players, teams, coaches, GMs, owners. No. Like, no, I would no. Don't go there.
I don't think that they will either. I agree with XO here that it should be interesting. Now, I do think that there should, we've got to win this. We've got to win flag football. I know that it's not tackle football and it's not necessarily the same, but we've got to put forth our best foot here. There's plenty of quarterbacks that, Jordan Love. Who's the dude backup? Trey Lance, backup for the Cowboys.
He played lots of 7-7 ball.
Yeah, exactly. He would be perfect.
What you do. You take Patrick Mahomes, right? You take Tyreek Hill, and you take who's another one that is just shifty and speedy out there?
Well, he said Joe Burrow was saying the first two names that he mentioned were Jamar Chase, Justin Jefferson, and then you add in Tyreek Hill like that.
Right.
I mean, golly, dude, having those three receivers as Big Cat put it. Oh yeah, you just want to go out there and play with your best friends, huh?
Well, yeah. I mean, that's the LSU connection right outside of Tyreek Hill, but.
Livy Dunn can be the cheerleader.
Right. But they need to, slow your roll on that. If you want to take, the juniors that are going into their senior year of college and do that, I'm fine with that, right? I mean, they're already making money now through NIL. They don't, the only difference being is they're going to have to pay taxes on the gold medals that they win. But stay out of the NFL. There's too much money involved. These organizations have too much money tied up into these players and their careers, and potential future success.
How are you going to feel if a Mahomes goes out there and shreds his ACL or something?
I'm fine
like
with
that.
All right, let's go to Joe. Let's say how you going to feel.
I've already said it. I'm not
just
okay
the
with
NFL in general, though.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, you lose one of the big faces of your league. I mean, you can't do that. They're not going to do that. I don't see it happening.
See, and I would love to see these guys out there. I don't think that it will happen. However, let's say that they go out there 2028 and they don't even medal in this. Do we change our tune in 2032?
So it says take XFL players and put them out there.
I mean, that's a great idea as well. But again, I mean, my question still remains that for me, I think I differ with you guys though. If we lose in 2028, don't even medal. I mean, that's our sport, just the same way as basketball was. You know what I mean? It's embarrassing. I understand it's not tackle football, but it's embarrassing when we put our guys out there. Like baseball, I understand, right? Because the rest of the world is not the rest of the world. We should at least medal in baseball, but you've got some really good countries.
WBC, we got our butts kicked sometimes.
Right, exactly. I mean, what gold medal Japan ended up with, or the championship, they ended up winning that, and we had the all-time face-off between Mike Trout and Shohei Ohtani in that particular game. But I think that I would change my tune myself, because there's other guys. Yeah, you don't got to have the top tier. If we send the XFL players or the UFL players rather, all right, and they can't get it done, then there's other quarterbacks in the league that. All right, who's the guy that's who just got he got his deal 2 years ago? I'm not asking for there's not one right now, but
DiNucci should go out there and be better than the quarterback from France.
That's what I'm kind of getting at. That's what I'm getting at.
Fourth and fifth string guys should be better than the rest of the world.
Mac Jones for crying out loud
out there.
Justin Fields in flag football would be fire.
That would be phenomenal.
I think that he's going to get a lot of play in certain packages for the Steelers this year, not as the main quarterback. But it's you bring a Wildcat package out there, but it's not necessarily Wildcat because you still got a quarterback there. And we can't forget Arthur Smith is the OC over there, and he had Marcus Mariota over there for the Falcons, was running him a lot.
Here's what you do: you take Justin Fields as your quarterback, you have Kyle Pitts as your wide receiver because he ain't catching anything else, right? And then you find other guys that are out there that are just not getting it done. Treylon Burks. Take Treylon Burks because, he's not catching passes for Tennessee here recently. Take guys like that are right there, that are close, but maybe just haven't been that guy yet, and put them out there.
That's great. Also from XO, imagine how the market would react if NFL players join the Olympic flag football team and don't win a gold. Dave Dovis says, I could see them not winning gold, though. I mean, at this point, the way that it went in 20U tackle football, I mean, if we don't got the best of the best out there, I could see that happening. And these guys, these other squads, these other countries are going to have 4 years or they probably have already been preparing for this. That's why the rest of the world catches up to us in other sports.
What have we seen the rest of the world too? A lot of times their ability is better than ours. They usually have better fundamentals. They're usually better like on the basic stuff. Our guys tend to like kind of try to do the more flashier things where these guys are more sound technically, and usually that helps you out like in these bigger events, like in that long term.
Well, and one of the biggest things that you cannot calculate is chemistry. And how do you create chemistry? That doesn't happen by just playing, a couple of games together. That's something that is done in practice and in games.
That's how the Russian hockey team was so good back in the day. You had dudes that were playing together, like the Red Army team, literally for like 20 years, and then they go out in the Olympics and stuff, and of course they're going to dominate.
Here's
they
what
play,
you do.
Play with their eyes closed. They know where everybody's going to be.
Yeah.
Here's what you do. The team that loses the Super Bowl has to staff the previous year has to staff the Olympic team.
Okay. All right, so it's almost like
that's
the Pro Bowl
That's a punishment to that team. It should probably be like a hard knocks thing. You're the worst team in the league, because the worst team in the NFL should, hands down, probably beat the rest of the world.
But he's just saying, but you're just saying to pick the roster, right?
So that way there's that cohesion. They've all played together. And
oh wait,
he's saying from the team.
So from the team, so they would have to. Okay,
no, that's a punishment. I don't like that idea.
Oh man,
because that's a really good team right there, and now you're forcing them to do something like that. I think that should be like that should be like a hard knocks, like you're getting relegated kind of thing. Like you're a crappy team. This is what you try to avoid. You try to avoid. You have to have
as
your
a consolation prize. You get a chance to represent your country.
Or how about this? Okay, so it's every 4 years. How about the 4 worst teams over the course of that 4 years? Now they have to make that roster up. So it's like, as a franchise, you probably don't want your players doing that because of the potential of getting hurt and something detrimental happening, So you try to avoid that. So you try not to finish last. You try to not tank.
Who would have thought we'd be talking this long about flag football? Can't wait for 2028. Also, can't wait for tomorrow as Team Dynasty goes for the championship against the Dolphins tomorrow night, 6:15 at Frank Nelson. That should be a lot of fun. The first game, Dolphins got the best of us, our only loss of the season. So hopefully we can avenge that, but they've got a couple of gamers on their squad. All right. We're going to be losing you after this segment, right? Okay. Because you're gonna head out of here. I wanted to ask you, why is the trade deadline, the Major League Baseball trade deadline, scary for the sports card industry?
It's tough, right? Because, there's a lot of guys that are out there that are just like me, that they have their stable of guys that they collect, and some of them go pretty heavy, a lot of money invested. Like for me, I'm heavily invested in Cam Collier, a 19-year-old prospect for the Reds, third baseman who homered today. In fact, he was the MVP of the Futures game. And, it's scary for me thinking that the Reds are going to trade Cam Collier away to a team like, sorry, Jimmy, I said we weren't going to beat up the White Sox.
The White Sox.
But trade him to the White Sox or trade it to the Marlins, right, where there's not a lot of interest in those types of players, unfortunately. Now if, and so that's a scary thought going into the trade deadline is, and there's other guys that are out there that are going, okay, well, let's see. I was really big into Connor Norby for the Orioles. I collected a lot of his stuff. Now he's a Marlin. Unless that dude is just like MVP level.
Yeah.
His stuff is not going to be near as valuable as what it once was because he was on the Orioles and he was, excelling. So that's kind of a scary aspect as a baseball card collector going into the trade deadline, because you're like, okay, well, and there's the flip side to it as well, right? Where you have a guy like Jazz Chisholm who goes from the Marlins, who's not heavily collected. Now, obviously, he's not a prospect. He's a veteran, but now his cards have risen in value. Because of the move simply to the Yankees. Now the fact that he's hit 4 home runs and
it's like sell right 100%, now.
100%, absolutely. There's Yankee fans out there that are eating it up. So there is the other side of the coin to it, but it can be scary going into the trade deadline when, if you're prospect heavy as far as your collection goes, and, and trying to figure out where your guys are going to go, if they're going to go somewhere.
When it comes to baseball card collecting, would you say that is the most volatile aspect of it, is trying to collect the correct prospects?
Oh, 100%. Yeah. I mean, it's
because veterans, for the most part, unless that trade deadline or that trade gets them, they kind of maintain their value for the most part.
For the most part, right? Yeah. I mean, it's still the rookie cards that everybody's after.
Yeah. Is that the same across the board outside of quarterbacks in the NFL? Like NBA, most I hear about is rookie cards. Major League Baseball, rookie cards.
Unless you're the name like LeBron, right?
Okay,
I mean,
like the studs.
LeBron just takes that to another level, right?
Which, by the way, guys, watch Team USA. Like, this is it's your last opportunity to see LeBron James with Team USA. This is I consider it to be a special moment. Sorry for the interruption.
No, that's okay. But that's one of the outliers, if you will. But yeah, it's rookie cards. You know, like Topps Chrome was just released last week. So everybody's chasing the top rookies in there, right? That's Ellie, that's Jackson Holiday, Wyatt Langford, Evan Carter, Jackson Churio, all of those guys that everybody's going after. Junior Caminero, who still hasn't made an appearance this year for the Rays.
Skeens, if he's in there.
Skeens is not in Topps Chrome yet. He just had his first actual rookie card with the Shield.
So will it be an update?
It was released today, was Museum Collection. There's no autos there for Paul Skeens, but he was released as a rookie in the Museum Collection set today.
Which had some beautiful cards. I was watching some breaks earlier with
100%.
AG.
But Topps Chrome Update should have Paul Skeens, and the reason I'm saying should more than anything is he was seen wearing the MLB
rookie patch,
debut patch, right, which was a big chase last year in Topps Chrome Update. So you're going to see a lot of those guys being collected in Topps Chrome Update, and it's going to be a big chase. Like last year, there was a $150,000 bounty put on Anthony Volpe's debut patch. It was just hit like last month.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's insane. Like a whole year.
Essentially, yeah.
Wow, man. I don't do as much of the collecting, but I enjoy the
There's
stories.
people that put up cases and stuff, and you could have a card like that sitting inside of something like that just never gets open. It's sitting in somebody's like safe or vault or something.
Yep.
Yeah, is that what you do, Fano? No, he's like, no, I rip them and.
It'd be nice to be able to buy cases of cards like that and just put them up for a while.
100%. I mean, imagine you
have
were
that kind of dough.
Imagine you were, stocking up on 2018 Bowman, or you were stocking up, or you were stocking up on 2018 Topps Chrome.
Yeah.
Right, or update with Otani in there. I mean, those boxes that were $20 blaster boxes when they first came out, they're selling for upwards of $200, $250 a pop. Just because you can potentially hit an
potentially
history, chance. It's like a scratch off. It's like a lot of things.
I feel like, and granted there's bias here just because I'm a Reds fan, but I feel like there's going to be, and it's not just because of Ellie, because there's some great rookies in there in that class that's this year for 24 Topps Chrome. But I feel like this is one of those products that you do, if you have the ability, go buy a couple cases of Topps Chrome and stash it, put it away.
Don't even look at it.
It might take 5 years, but I feel like there's some names in here. Like you said earlier, baseball's in a good place right now with some of this young talent. A lot of that young talent is in 24 Topps Chrome.
Hey, there you go. It could be the opposite of Sam Peebles' analogy earlier with what you got in the closet. He said you got something in the closet and you paid $20 for it. Someone offers you $10. You don't want to do that deal because you paid $20. Well, you put Topps Chrome in the closet from 2024. You might have paid $35. Is that fair for a blaster box?
It's like $40 for a blaster.
40 for a blaster box. Well, that thing could turn into $250.
$225 for a hobby, $450 for jumbo, $450 for delight, give or take, depending.
$10 in the hand is better than $20 in the closet, right?
So if you get a chance, go to PCB Hobby, go to Instant Replay here in town, go clean them out of Topps Chrome, and just stash it away if you have the ability.
Speaking of one of those two places, I saw a shoeless Joe Jackson card. Yeah, so it's like trying to get that out of my mouth. That was pulled out of a pack of cards. I don't know if it was a big box or anything like that, but pretty cool, like hologram card, pretty rare, like 101. Nice card, cool stuff like that you can get, just by buying, like you said, a $20, $40 pack of cards. Bam, probably a card that costs $1,000.
I think that's half of the excitement is like not spending a lot, and then like you get one of those hits that's just like, wow, man. Like
Jimmy
one of
says
the ones.
Jumbo's up to 600, by the way.
Oh, doggy, man. Make
3
that money.
autos per box.
Industry's in a good place? Or is it climbing back down?
It's in a very expensive place right now.
Yeah.
And I think that's turning some people off because the ROI has seemed to diminish. And what I mean by our ROI is return on investment, not only in terms of what you can get out of the box, but what the value of these cards are, right?
Yeah.
So my buddy Big Fred, he's been on this. Rookie cards are going to overtake Bowman first.
He just chimed in. How about that, too? There's the man. Nice hat, big dog.
There's Big Fred, right. So he's been on this. Rookie cards are going to overtake Bowman first in terms of not just value, but in terms of, being sought out and sought after. And that could be the case if we continue to see the trend that we're seeing with Bowman first autos and things like that not being, as valuable, and with the box price being what they are.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely. But just like Big Fred, we're going to head to a break. You guys are riding with the Afternoon Underdogs. This is ESPN Northwest Florida. Everyone say so long to AG Fano. Will be back with us next Wednesday. We'll be right back talking some SummerSlam with Coach Brian Haddad. We've got Monty and Faro as well. We'll be right back.
The new app from 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida is designed specifically for sports fanatics like you. The sports content you demand is always on. Live stream our national and local sports talk anywhere you go. Reach us on all social media. You can also be a part of the show. Call and text into our studios. Plus, up-to-the-minute weather and traffic maps. The new app from 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida is available at the Apple Store and Google Play.
Good evening. This is Joanna on ESPN Northwest Florida with your forecast on this Wednesday. Some clouds tonight with a light breeze around 5 miles per hour coming out of the south, and look for the low to be 82. Tomorrow morning, there will be possible thunderstorms and mostly sunshine with the temperature reaching 88. A possibility of thunderstorms and partly sunny in the afternoon and evening with the high of 91. This weather is brought to you by Earthworks of Northwest Florida. Thank you for tuning into ESPN Northwest Florida. Rely on it.
With over 65 years of combined experience, Instant Replay Sports Cards is happy to help you take your collection to the next level. They carry all the new hobby boxes, signed memorabilia, and supplies. New and vintage cards and Pokemon. They sell and trade cards and are always looking to buy. They're an authorized source for Topps, Panini, Upper Deck, and Leaf cards. Instant Replay Sports Cards is open 7 days a week at 752 West 23rd Street, down from Academy Sports. It can always be reached at InstantReplaySportsCards.com.
So you've heard the saying that if you love your job, you'll never have to work? Well, it's true.
I've worked for Brock Lawn and Pest Control for many years. The commitment to the needs of customers
and their commitment to each employee makes Brock a company I'm very proud to be a part of.
Brock's core values are also mine. Give people more than they expect and always honor your promises.
This isn't a job, it's a service to help people live a healthier lifestyle.
Brock Lawn and Pest Control, our family protecting your family.
Doing what other stations can't. The Afternoon Underdogs is live and local. 850-215-6290.
When you've completed dialing, listen for the ringing signal.
104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida.
Welcome back into the doghouse, or maybe for this segment, we'll call it the cage. This is the Afternoon Underdogs right here on ESPN Northwest Florida 104.3 in Panama City, 101.9 in Port St. Joe. No Atlanta Braves game on tonight as they dispatched of the Brewers, taking that series 2-1. But tomorrow night, coverage starts at 6, first pitch 6:20 versus the Marlins of Miami. Very fun segment as you guys have gotten to know Monty and Faro. Obviously, you know Coach Brian Haddad from the Coach James Hale Show, filled in on the Inside Drive, and is with us on Mondays on ESPN. ESPN
Monty's there.
Florida. Yeah, Monty is there loud and clear. But yeah, Coach Brian Haddad, Monty, Faro, thank you guys for joining us. Let's get caught up on SummerSlam.
Yeah, well, the first thing I want to know is who do we play Super Freak for? Is that for me or for Jimmy there?
I just figured I'd just pick, just some music that sounded good for the intro. I wasn't doing it for no particular reason, to be honest.
I love it. Guys, how are we doing today?